And so we were going out, but it was sporadic. And so we're so happy with the Swami. We're feeling purified, but he's giving us a new prayer. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasudeva Gaur Bhaktivinoda. He wrote it on a slate, and we learned it. And then he said, it's Lord Chaitanya's appearance day. I would like you all to go into the temple the whole day and chant japa, chant kirtan, and read this manuscript. And it was a manuscript of the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. And he said, not only do you go in the temple all day, but you fast. You don't eat the whole day. But as I was explaining, how kind. We never met such a kind person, and the Indian style, the East Indian style of kindness is so like a kind father. He said, but if you can't fast, here's some rock candy. So he gave me and Mukunda some sugar candy that they use for yellow fever. So that's how kind he was. So now we're in the temple, and it's a storefront. It's not as glorious as this, but still, we had Kartamashi, we had the Vyasa-san, we had the Swami. Now, he wasn't there. I had an apartment, and Lilavati and Murari and Jivananda and Harsharani and myself and Jamuna lived in this apartment, and it was nicer than the one above the temple. Previous, he was above the temple, and one day he was looking out the window, and he saw Malati take a whole flat of butter from a dairy truck that the man went into the store delivering milk. And he saw that, and because he knows Charlie Chaplin movies, it was mine, he could tell she was taking the butter, and she was so proud she got all the butter and put it in the refrigerator, and then she heard, well, Swamiji wants to see you. So again, she put the one sari in the movement on, and she goes up there, and he says, so you have stolen the butter? And she became like a protoplasmic golden molten butter herself, like me. He said, we should not steal. And as it said here, it's Krishna's property. You should treat other people's property like stool. It's not your property. It's Krishna's. But if you have to steal butter, because Krishna is called Makanchur. And then he told her the story of Makanchur. So he taught us, and even this was the first chastisement, but he also forgave. So now we're in the temple, Lord Chaitanya's appearance day, and the great Jayananda Thakur, great devotee, I mean, Mr. Rathayatra, but he was also a man of the people. He didn't think he was scholarly, but he was very smart. Selfless, hardworking, great example, helping newcomers. I mean, every facet. He was on my Radha Damodar bus with Parvajakacharya Swami. We were called the Bliss Bus. We were the only bus allowed into temples. The other buses would take pots and pans and tapestry and devotees. They would raid the temples. Vishnu John called himself the Raiders. There was a kid on his bus who was a kleptomaniac. And Vishnu John told the kid to steal something from our Bliss bus. And he stole a slide projector. So there was a kid on my bus who was a kleptomaniac. And I was preaching him, don't steal. It's everybody got stool. But I said, now get it out of your system, steal something from the Raiders bus. So he stole an Ektar. So Vishnu John called, once a week we had a call. He said, are you showing many slides? I said, no, but we're sure playing a good Ektar. Ooh. So this is the spirit we were preaching, the spirit of camaraderie. And so Jayananda Thakur and Jivananda go like this to me. Like, what's that? They're signaling, let's go out of the temple. And I said, the Swamiji told us to stay in the temple and chant, kirtan, japa, and read the book. He told us it was about noontime. And they were restless. And I said to Swami, they said, we have an idea. Just come with us. Well, okay, Jivananda, Jayananda, two Anandas and one Das, Guru Das. Okay, so we go to the apartment and the Swamiji's on the second floor, golden. He comes to the window, we're chanting. And he goes like this. And I said, I told you Anandas, he's telling us to go back to the temple. He told us to stay in the temple. So we're going down the hill. It was on a hill and we're going down. And Upendra comes out and he says, the Swamiji wants to see you. Oh no, Malati got chastised. Now we're going to get chastised maybe by the Swami. It's like when you're in school and the principal of the school wants to see you. Uh-oh. I don't know if it happened to you, but it happened to me. I made a homemade stink bomb out of sulfur and iron filings, and I let it off in the class. So anyway, don't do this at home, folks. So Upendra comes running out and he says, the Swamiji, well, he told us to go back. He says, no, in India, this means come here, come here. So we go there and he's smiling beautifully. Oh, well, he says, Lord Chaitanya has given you the intelligence to chant outside the temple as well as inside the temple, and this is called Harinam. And so this was the start of the Harinam in the West Coast. And he said, now do this every day. And there's Vishnu, John, and Jamuna on the harmonium. So yes, we were going out every day, and it was glorious. And we went to San Francisco was a tourist town. So here we are going with flags and instruments and actually having a good time. And here's our love feast. So many people now they call it Sunday feast. We called it love feast. It was love feast. And you see, it's going out the door. So, Madhavisa and the brahmacharis, one of their great pleasures was the love feast. They could sort of have a day off. And so they were trying to, Jamuna would have this tarp going out the door, and they were trying to figure out what was in the pots. What's in the love feast? They were so wanting prasadam. And so Jamuna decided that she was going to feed everybody outside in the street first. So Madhavisa and Brother David and the other brahmacharis had to take all the plates and give it out first. And then they ate last. So the next week, they went outside in the street, and Jamuna decided to feed everybody in the front first. Well, Malati didn't learn about stealing, and she stole. We thought everything from India was holy. A kirta from India, oh, it's a kirta, oh, it's holy. So Malati didn't learn about stealing, and she stole a little something from India. And we were so close with the Swami, she said, she brought it to him. Is this from India? And he bowed down. He said, you brought me Lord Jagannath. I shall tell you the story. He said, is there any others? She said, yeah, I think there's a yellow one and a white one. Go. And it's what we call a 5-finger discount in America, 5-finger discount. He said, go get them. So now she does a 10-finger discount. So he told us the story, and then he said, Samarshunda, can you carve these? And Samarshunda found a block of wood and he was carving it. Swamiji wanted him to speed it up, so he walked a half a mile to where Samarshunda was, and there was a pell-mell cigarette as Samarshunda was carving, and Swamiji took his cane and went, whap! He said, don't let this get in the way of your Krishna consciousness. See, we didn't know. Again, we were barbarians made into Brahmins. We didn't know. And I'll show you how we didn't know. So I don't remember who it was, but somebody decided, let's take Lord Jagannath for a walk in the park. So I'm with the Swamiji, and he's running, and we get there, and he said, Lord Jagannath only comes out of the temple once a year. I'll explain it. But as long as we're here, let's just sit down and chant. It's done. And then an amplifier shows up. your head is in the way of the clock, so personified clock.
I was just wondering, could you tell us a little bit about, since you're talking about the West Coast, how did Janis Joplin take to Christian consciousness? Do you have any experience about that? And I also asked your relationship with Charlie Chaplin. Is that okay? That means jumping ahead to your.
Okay, well, Stanley Mouse, did all the posters, and he had a studio, and it's where Big Brother and the holding company came. Janis Joplin was from Texas, and she sang like the blues singers, Bessie Smith, Billie Holiday. She was a tremendous singer, and she put her heart and soul into it, but unfortunately, she was in a lot of pain. She was sort of abused in high school, and she drank a lot. But I was at the studio, Mouse's studio, and I wanted to jam with her. I had a guitar, and she already was rehearsing all day. She didn't want to do it. But we were part of the fabric of the community, and we fed people, and they knew about us, and especially Janis Joplin's band knew me, because in Mexico, someone was painting my portrait, and the payment was 10 pesos and a little puppy, if you wanted. And there was a puppy that was more independent and different color. And I took that little puppy, and we ended up hitchhiking across the United States with another little dog that was being abused, and me and a boxer from Costa Rica climbed over the fence and got the dog. And so there were 2 dogs and 2 girls and me hitchhiking across the United States. 2 dogs, 2 girls, and me. Well, how you do it is the girls go out there, and me and the dogs are behind the bush. So the girls are hitchhiking. Oh yeah. And then suddenly they stop, and then I come with the dogs. Oh. But the truck driver stopped. We made it across in 5.5 days. So this dog used to go to Janis Joplin's and the Big Brother's house, and I'd get a note. His name was ¿Qué tal?, which means what's happening in Spanish. Like, hey, what's happening, man? And so, take ¿Qué tal? Back, he's eating too much. So the first Ralph Theatre was on a truck. I'm going to get to Charlie Chaplin. ¿Qué tal? is sitting in the truck there with Sam Rashunda in the truck. ¿Qué tal? Here's Sam Rashunda building with Jayananda. This is the second Ralph Theatre. Look, in 1 year. And then look. So then Swamiji wanted us to go to London, and on the way we ended up in Montreal. And like a child, I asked Swamiji, because on the back of Godhead was Lord Nrsingadev, who's known for his ferocity, but he's also known for his sheltering. There was a devotee who was 25 years in jail, and he loved Lord Nrsinga for his ferocity. I said, but look how he's sheltering Prahlad too. So I asked Swamiji, can we wear Lord Nrsimha masks on Harinam? Yeah. Yes. We never did it. It would have scared people away, but yes. And then he told the story of Charles Chaplin. That Charles Chaplin, I'm going to do it in the language that he used. Charles Chaplin was at the ball dance, and someone put some glue on his tailing coat and it ripped, and he went into the private room. Here's the painting that Siddhanta, Bhakti Siddhanta did, our devotee, of this story. Charles Chaplin at the ball dance. So, yeah, he ripped his tailing coats up more, and then he went and danced, and then Swamiji imitated him on the dance floor. And then everybody saw this, and they went into the private room and ripped up their tailing coats, and they danced like that. So his point was, what great men do, others will follow in preaching. And so, yes, you can wear Lord Nrsimha mask. Now, later on, years of preaching all over the place, and Krishna put me together with all these kings and prime ministers and celebrities, and because I guess Prabhupada called me our ambassador, that I could get an appointment with the ambassador of the United States in one day. So I was the ambassador, and I happened to be in Geneva, and I decided I would go to Charlie Chaplin's house. And I went to his house, and his wife, Una O'Neill, came to the door and said, I gave her a Bhagavad Gita. And she said, Charlie Chaplin was ill. He was ill. But I told her the story of Lord Nrsimha and everything, and she loved it. And she went and told him, gave him the Gita, told him, and came back, and he was delighted. And he started reading the Bhagavad Gita, and he left the planet within 2 weeks from that. And perhaps it changed his life. Chaitya Guru, it said to me, call Madhavisa. And I called him, and we spoke for 20 minutes. And then he said, Gurudas, I'm tired. And he left the planet the next day. So follow your intuition, follow your preaching. And then we get to New York, and there's the New York devotees. And so I shall continue the story. We're going to London tomorrow with the Beatles. And this is a present for you from one of our preaching devotees, Trinity. So, thank you very much. And here's Srila Prabhupada. So, okay, I guess we're going to go to a farm. What an adventure. Krishna conscious can be an adventure. What a nice class it was last night. I asked them, what do you like about Krishna conscious? They gave great answers. Association. The answers were fabulous. What a nice, and this is a tribute to you, that you collectively got these souls together. And many of them will continue their devotional practice and services. So this is a wonderful, wonderful temple. I feel at home here. It's vibrant. There's things going on. So just keep this spirit up, yoga studios and classes and Harinam and beautiful temple, beautiful devotees, and beautiful Prabhupada. Thank you. Thank you. Wow, that was even better than last night. I photographed it and then I did one more time.
Yeah, just about Charlie Chaplin. He received a award with the Oscars, and when he came on the stage, it was a 12-minute standing ovation. No one ever had received anything like that.
12 minutes of?
12-minute standing ovation
Oh.
at the Oscars.
Because he was persecuted. And he did a film called Modern Times. And the film was about the cybernetics, the industrial age, how it was submerging the individual out of the people. And he was so brilliant that he created these machines that would just eat up people. And he was the tramp, the underdog, becoming successful, like a Greek play. It starts out tragically and then it becomes successful. And then he did a film called The Great Dictator against Hitler. He saw, now there were people in the United States like Lindbergh and Ford who were saying Hitler's right. And Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the president, heard about Charlie Chaplin doing this film, and he said, do it. And people didn't want him to do because it was risky and there was potential war, and he did it. And the last scene, he talks about humanity and peace and love and, as Prabhupada says, cooperating together. And it was a tremendous film. But he was exiled from the United States. And then finally he came back, and then they gave him, they realized how great he is. And they gave him this standing ovation.
Prabhupada went Charlie Chaplin's work. You like doing films.
We were on an airplane together, and sure enough, a Charlie Chaplin film came, and all the devotees were like sand coming out of their nose, stoic, impersonless, and they look over, like I looked over, like, what's Prabhupada doing? He's on my shoulder, WWPD, what would Prabhupada do right now? And he's laughing, so now, okay, the devotees can laugh, you know.
Thank you. We'll take breakfast then. And Gurudas is going with us to the deer farm.